We will be discussing about drip irrigation systems.
Different ways of watering, there's sprinkling, you have hand watering, flooding.
Bob used to use sprinkler system on the farm because it was a huge area. You can pinpoint where you water, and you can control far more than what you can control with any other system. Bob has everything over here to show you. Hello, universes. We would like to go back and let's be friends together. Hello there. Welcome to our channel, my friend Bob. We again have the privilege of having Mr. Amberg with us.
Hello all, good to see you all again.
So again, a new subject, a new day. We will be discussing about drip irrigation systems. But before we go there, let's quick review. What are the different systems, Bob? Like the way you can water.
Well, it's kind of an old topic for us. We've gone through, we talked about some different ways of watering. There's sprinkling, you have hand watering, flooding, many different types. And just one other that we thought we'd touch on briefly would be using a drip irrigation system. We also discussed in one of our previous segments was trying to prepare your garden for drought situations. There's no drought resistant plants, but there's things you could do. So hopefully you'll go and visit that again.
Bob used to use sprinkler system on the farm because it was a huge area. There will be cost to, in a farm situation, use a drip system. But at least at home where you have smaller backyard or smaller areas, it becomes quite economical to use a drip system. I think if my math is not incorrect, since water has become decently expensive nowadays, you can pay for your drip irrigation system in the same year, or if not in the same in 2 years. Just the amount of water that you could save. Again, Bob was alluding, but he will go in more detail. You can pinpoint where you water, and you can control far more than what you can control with any other system. Bob has everything over here to show you. I will get off the camera and I'll let Bob talk about it.
Again, we use this on the farm a lot. We used it up to 10,000 mums. So we used it quite often, and I've adapted to use it at home. What is a drip system? You know, a drip system is just that. It drips water onto the plant slowly. You're getting it right to the base of the plant. Really, you're using these little drip irrigation things. There's a little lead weight on the bottom, and if you were to look, this is just a very thin, hollow tube. So it gets the water equivalent slowly out there onto the plants. You can water a lot of plants with just a little water. With those 10,000 mums, we would probably do 1,000 at a time off a faucet and just leave it on, just drip slowly. And I guess we'll go through just really a basic setup of the system. And to set up the system, first you want to leave lube attached to your hose faucet, your house faucet or your spigot. You could use a splitter like this. I use a splitter at home just so I could run a regular hose off it, shut it off as needed. You want to get your tubing. We talked about the attaching to your water supply, your faucet. Once you attach to your faucet, you're able to hook up to your piping. You want to stretch out and see how much piping you need. You want to measure it out. And once you're ready, you want to cut the piping. Very easy to cut. It's poly pipe, plastic. They have tools that will cut it. Easily. Careful. Don't forget your safety goggles. You can also cut it with a saw, hacksaw. There's a number of ways. It's very easy to cut it. Be careful with the knife. It's pretty tough stuff. So a saw or something like that would be much better. There's a couple different sizes of tubing. Now this is 3/4 inch tubing. You can also find 1/2 inch tubing. With the amount we were doing, we would use the 3/4. So that's what I use at home. There's also, the fittings come in different sizes too. So you want to pay attention to which ones you purchase, 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. So these are ones you would use to split. You would have your line coming in and split off into 2 different directions. First, you would want a fitting that would attach your tube to your faucet, and that would look something like this. That would attach to your hose, where you could shut it off, shut it on, and you would attach now with your fittings, you also have pipe thread and hose thread, and you want to be particular because you can't use pipe thread on hose thread. So you want to be particular on what you use. So you have your fitting, you want to get your pipe onto here now. So this will fit on there, and it's not easy. One trick that we would use, you would heat this with some water. Hot water would loosen it up, and it makes it much easier to force on. So you attach your hose to your spigot. You decide where your hose is going to run. Again, a number of different fittings. Pay attention to your sizes and where you want to direct it. You have corners, you have extenders, all different ones. Once your hose is attached to your fitting, you would tighten it down with one of these so it doesn't blow off. And once you set it out, then you can start attaching your wires. So you can get pretty fancy, something like this. This is made for this, where you would go through. It's a little easier outside, but it makes a little hole into it right here. You can also do that with an ice pick, an awl, or a drill. You could drill each one out easily. Once you get your hole filled, you can take your drip hose and insert it into that hole. You want to get it completely in.
But with the kind of water pressure we have, whatever you just did right now, that would not come out, or do you?
No, because it's spread out over such a wide area, you won't have a problem with it.
So no glue or anything that you're about to put in here?
There we go.
So no glue or anything that
No glue is needed. I mean, if you had a problem, you could use pipe thread or something at your different fittings, but between your sealing it with this and just the pressure, like I said, this is a pretty tight fitting. You're really gonna have to squeeze that and get that down, then get this on. It also pays to put this on before you put your fitting on, just so you don't have to do it all over again. So once you get your hole set up, this will push in. You measure out as needed. Come on. And then you're able to set your hose to where you want it. You can cut these to length. These are probably 30 inches long, 2 foot long. And you would set each one of these down at the base of your plant. And you would allow it to, you'd want to put an end on it. You can put space these out as needed. Also, if you decide you're going to do a change, if you don't need that one anymore, what do? You can take it out, a little piece. You would make another hole next to it, and you would push this into that hole, and that would stop, then you could, it sort of stops that water coming out of the end there.
Now, if I was you, I would have been putting duct tape on top of it.
I've done that. I've done that, believe me. Or duct tape and clamp it.
Okay.
I've done that as well. One other thing you can add to your system would be a timer. There's a number of different timers out in the market. You could set them for different times to go on if you're away. Or if you're home, you could even just set it for different times. Say you want to run it for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, a half hour, which makes it much easier. You could use it, set it up to go early in the morning. Again, like your regular watering, it's probably better to do it early in the morning, early in the evening. not during the hot part of the day to get the most efficient use out of the water. You could use them on fabric. Again, very adaptable to use. You can use fertilizer in the system if you get an applicator that would adapt to the system. One thing as you get your system together, you don't want too much play in this, because if you get play in it, you're going to get these pulled out. So you want to anchor this down. You can get landscape pins, something like this, push down. You don't need a lot to hold them in, but you need something. You could get coat hangers. There's a number of different things you could use just to help peg those down a little bit. So, that's basically it. You would leave these run as needed, not long, maybe 15, 20 minutes each time for your watering system. They're very adaptable. You can do a number of different things with them. You can actually, even with these poly pipes, set up your system to use a sprinkler. Same type, you get a little better idea. You do the cleaner side. How these attach on. This is a T-fitting with a little sprinkler on top. Now with the sprinklers, you wouldn't want to use near as many. On these, you could do 25, 30 to a line. Maybe you would want to do just 2 or 3 sprinklers to a line. That's basically it. If there's any questions, please call. We'd like to say too, I have a number of these drip tubes left over. Say maybe to the first 20 people, if they would like 10, please ask in the comments. If you're close to Union County, New Jersey, we'll get them to you somehow. But if you're willing to do it, and if you have any other questions, please get in touch.
Bob, I have a regular sprinkler system in my front yard, which I have to get it emptied of cleaned out during winter because of cold winters. What do you do to these systems during winter?
There's nothing that really will split from the freezing and thawing, so you really don't. I leave mine attached all winter long. There's no dirt that can really get into the system. You would want to check it during the year, make sure these haven't fallen out, because that would be an avenue for dirt to get in. And again, it's not going to hurt, but it's not going to take a lot to clog these. Again, it's a very tiny hole in that drip tube. You don't have to do anything in the winter to winterize the system, not like you would do with a regular outdoor sprinkler system.
It's pretty straightforward, and once it's installed, it does magic. Bob vouches about it. Huge fan. I don't have it. Hopefully next year I'll do it myself also. All that said, as Bob has mentioned that he has these tubes, quite a few that we can give away. So as he mentioned, if you are in Union County, New Jersey area, please comment in the section and we'll figure out if you can come over to get it or if we can drop it, something. We'll figure something out. So thank you so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe. Write in the comments section, what did you like, what you didn't like. Talk about your own experiences. What systems do you use to water your gardens? Thank you so much.
Also, if you're in Pike County, Pennsylvania, I could probably get you some of those tubes too. So again, thank you very much for watching. Please keep watching. Any questions, please don't hesitate. We're really here to help you, and your questions help us. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.